How much money do you think is lost in opportunity due to a lack of being able to overcome opposition of thought? Opposition of thought is just a natural part of selling. That's all objection is, right? That's all objection is. And you're going to hear it every day from people around you. You're going to hear it from your friends. You're going to hear it from people you work with. You're going to hear it from your kids. You're going to hear it from everybody. The better you get at overcoming objections, the more money you're going to make. I really believe that, okay? Yesterday I was with Bill Taylor. Bill Taylor has owned a karate school since '78. And the parents come in there with their kids and they get excited and they want their kids to have confidence and bounce back and overcome adversity and be strong mentally and physically, and they love it. And they go through a little workout as a free trial, and then they sit down and talk about the pricing structure. And they have these different packages, $99, $199, $299, right? And he said, almost every parent says, we want to do it, but I need to go home and talk to my husband. I need to go home and do this. We need to think about it. We're probably going to do it. But he said once they leave, only 30% of them ever come back, no matter how much they like it. So he said one of our main challenges is they get here, they did their job to get them here, just like you do your job to get a lead. They got in the door, they liked it, but then they have opposition. So think about how much money's being lost in that inability to get them to say, commit. Even if they said, let's just go ahead and fill out the paperwork. If you go home and your husband's against it, I'd like to talk to him at least one time. But if he says yes, let's just go ahead and, you're already here, let's just go ahead and sign everything up and get started. You follow me here? There's a lot of money being lost here. So let's go through, this is very critical. This is why you got to train every day on this stuff. Not just every now and then. You got to really get this down. Step one of overcoming objection is listen and knowledge. And somebody said empathy. You said empathy? Empathy is, they're similar, right? Empathy is I'm trying to understand. I understand. So you would say that no matter what they say, you listen and you say, I understand. This is crazy. Can't believe the price is this ridiculous. For that house, what do you say?
Welcome to our world.
I understand, yeah. Yeah, hey, I understand. And I would be okay if you said, hey, it is crazy. Just right? Then the best part of isolation, in my opinion, is step 3, which is listen, validate. Step 3 is isolate.
Wait, what?
Okay, listen and acknowledge is 1 and 2.
Yeah. Isolate's 3.
Listen and acknowledge is 1 and 2.
Isolate is 3.
3 is isolate. Give me an example of an isolation.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, is there any other reason outside of this one reason that would keep you from moving forward? Okay, so go back to the little dojo. Is there any other reason other than you having to talk to your husband that would prohibit you from signing up your child today? You see what I mean? And the reason you got to ask that is because they could not be telling the truth. They may think the price is ridiculous, but they don't want to tell you. They may have a hidden objection you don't know about. The most dangerous objection is the one they don't tell you about. So remember, because we live in the South, we kind of push you back a little bit. Let me think about it, all those things. So you got to. It's almost like pinning a person down. It's like it's like you're pinning them down and saying, "Is there anything else that I don't know, other than this one thing that would keep you from moving forward?" No, it's just that one thing. All right. So now we got our first 3 steps, which a lot of people want to jump to challenging a person. It's like, well, why would you think this? Why wouldn't you do this? Why can't you see this? But you actually build an adversarial relationship when you immediately challenge them. Okay? Even if a person complains to you, you didn't do your job representing me on this property. I really wish you'd have worked harder. What do you say? If you're using our steps, what do you say?
I'm sorry to hear that you feel like that. What could I have done to make it a better experience for you? Or what could I have done to make it better?
Yeah, it's good. I understand. You're right. We didn't do our job. Okay? So what can we do better? Is there anything else? You see what I'm saying? You could actually use these when people complain too. So step 3 is isolate. Everybody got the isolation? How many people have been asking that isolation question, by the way? Have you been practicing using this? Okay, you really got to isolate the objection, okay? Step 4 is what? Validate. What is that? Give me an example of validation. How do you validate something?
I understand what you're saying. Is that right? I hear what you're.
Kinda.
I used to think that too.
I felt the same way.
Okay. If I could show you, validation is so you're telling me that if we just solve this one problem, you would take action, wouldn't you? You see what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of like validating your objection. So if I could show you a similar house in a different subdivision with more of what you told me you wanted, would you take action on that property? You would, wouldn't you? Yes, I would. Okay. Okay. Great.
That sounds more like reiterating the.
It is. It kind of is.
You're agreeing with their objection.
It kind of is reiterating. Reiterating is a nice way to say it. Validation is like I'm trying to push you. In my opinion, the way I validate a person is, so if I remove this one thing, you would take action, right, Christy? Mm-hmm. So price is the objection. You told me, right? If I just remove this one thing, you would take action, wouldn't you? That's kind of how I validate, is I attack that objection. You know, timing's not right. So if I could show you how the timing could be right, if I could show you how this is actually the best time, you would take action, wouldn't you? And see how I asked you the question with kind of an assumptive close? Like you would do this if I just took care of this one thing, right? Okay, good. Then let's go.
Not so much making them feel good about their objection, it's you more validating that you can work together.
Yeah,
That's what he's
yeah. It's kind of like you're taking the objection and addressing it and saying, if I just remove this one thing, you would take action. If I just remove this one roadblock, you would take action, right? Now, so then that kind of sets us up. Some people go, yes, if you just remove this one thing. Okay? You just got me closing costs on this. I'd take action on it. You just got me a little bit more money on this for my property. I would take action.
Do you find that people sometimes, sorry to interrupt.
No.
Do you find that people sometimes during that, I feel like, again, going back to your point about being in the South and people being polite, that I feel like sometimes when I ask, so let's say we're in a house and we say, well, it's everything they thought that they told me that they wanted. And there we are, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. We're ready to go. And they're like, well, we don't know. We want to think about it. Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And then you say, well, what's holding you back? What is it? And they say, it's whatever, the price.
Yep.
And sometimes I feel like when I say, okay, well, okay, well, let's not worry about the price because we can negotiate. And what if I can get you to the price that you like? Does it need everything else? Well, yeah. And then I say, well, let's make an offer and let's do this. And then sometimes I feel like something else still comes out.
Yeah.
Like they're still kind of holding out on it.
Yeah.
Well, we really don't like this and we really don't like this.
That's right.
Because they don't want to just come right out and say it at the beginning.
That's right.
So I feel like this step sometimes
It does.
it brings out something else they don't want to.
Now, I like using the phrase, it seems like. It seems like you really want to do this, but you're stuck on this one thing.
Yeah.
And that typically will get a person talking. Yes, I do love it, but
Right.
the price is too high. I feel like the price is too high and I don't like the master bedroom.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Well, now you know what the real objections are.
Right.
See, what I'm really trying to find out is what the real objection is here. And so I'm kind of working through this cycle, and I'm trying to pin you down just a little bit so we just don't go on a wild goose chase here.
Yeah.
What is it? It seems like you want to do this, but the price is holding you up. Is that right? Yeah, it's really the price. Well, it's also this. Okay, now I got two objections.
Yeah.
I understand. So if we could, now I got two objections. I understand. If we could get the price at a better point, could you live with the bedroom? You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so you're telling me, so then let's move to the last part, which is the challenge, right? And this is the part I really think people in the South struggle with more than anything, is the challenge is just take the word challenge out and use the word reframe. You're really just reframing a person's thinking. So give me an example of that. If they think the price is too high and they don't like the master bedroom, but you can tell they really want to do something on the house, how would you challenge them?
So I might say to the point of the price, let's assume that we can get you the price you want. Let's assume that we can get you to a price that makes you feel comfortable, and maybe we also get you to a price that to the husband or the wife leaves you $10,000. And what if we redid this master bedroom?
There you go.
What is it that you don't like about it?
That's good.
If we have new flooring, if we did this, if we took this wall out, if you had money in your budget to do those kinds of things, and we can negotiate that, then
That's right.
then are you there? Are you happy?
That's good. See, you can step back and say, imagine this for a second. I can understand, right? But we're almost home. Step back and imagine this bedroom looking exactly the way you want it to. Because if I can negotiate the price, I think I can, or I'll attempt to negotiate, we can make this bedroom exactly what you want it to. Would you take action on that, right? I think sometimes what I have found through my own experience is a real estate agent's desire to, I won't say earn a commission, but a desire to put a deal together sometimes overrides their ability to just listen. Okay, and let me give you an example. I'm trying to work on a deal right now that I don't know if there's a deal there or not. Okay, and the agent that I'm using is trying to just force feed this deal down my throat, and it's really not what I want. Like, I want to meet with the homeowner because there's some inside baseball to this deal. Does that make sense? I want us to get in a room and us talk about what an opportunity could look like. Okay, and that's the first step. That's really
You're the buyer?
I'm the buyer.
Yeah.
Now hold on. You don't know?
Everybody like,
Yeah, but you don't know the whole story.
I hear what you're saying.
All right, here's the deal. Because
I hear what you're saying.
yeah,
Tell
but
me why that's a bad
all right, yeah, but you don't have all the facts.
But let's
Okay.
reframe
Silence.
this. Let's-
All right, so let me reframe. Let me reframe this. So this is for a business opportunity, not for a personal house. Number one. Okay? I don't know if there's a deal to be had here or not. Okay? But what I would like to do is, because there could be a partnership for us to form, there could be where I rent this property for a period of time and then do something. There's different options that I'm looking for. I don't know if there's a deal or not, but there could be. So an agent worked on it for a period of time. I want to reward that agent because she did work on it for a period of time. So I don't want to cut her out of this. I could go directly to the person. It's not on the market right now. But I'm not doing that. I went back to the agent who helped me and said, you should be rewarded for this if we do put a deal together. Which could mean if I end up renting it and we generate revenue, we'll pay you on the back end just from the revenue generated. Okay? But the challenge is she keeps trying to say, well, what if we all made an offer this way? What if we made an offer this way? And that's not going to help move the ball down the field. I'm not ready to make an offer on anything. You understand what I'm saying? I just want a meeting so we can talk like this and see if this is a possibility. Because I may pitch the owner on her being one of my business partners on this particular deal. But I feel like the agent's desire to earn money off this deal is overriding her listening to what I'm telling her. Everybody follow me? So it's actually causing me to retreat. And I'm saying, listen to what I'm telling, just listen to me.
Because she's used to being cut out.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I've already told her I'm not cutting her out.
Tell her again.
Yeah.
Or maybe does she have a buyer's agreement signed with you on this?
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, that's on.
But she does, but you know, like I said, it's kind of an odd deal. Because it's a residential, it could be a commercial, and there's a lot of stuff going on with the deal. And there may not be a deal to be had here. But she keeps just kind of forcing this on me. So what I'm really trying to get across to you is that she's trying to force it on me, and I'm like, just chill out. The more you push me, the worse this is getting, because there's a lot going on here. And I need you to just listen to what I'm telling you, right? Now, I may give her objection. I may throw objection. Timing's not right. I'm not sure if there's a deal here or not. Well, instead of going through these steps and listening and working through that, she just keeps pushing this on me. Like, what if we offered it this way? What if we offered it this way? What if we got creative with this? And what I really want her to do is go, listen, I understand. You know, is there any other reason other than this one that's holding you back? And I will say, no, the only thing holding me back is I don't know if this is something I want to do or not. So we just need to get a little bit more information here, right? But her desire is so strong, it's just kind of, I think sometimes we push a little too hard, and that actually causes the reverse effect. Okay? So give me an example of a challenge, of a different way to reframe a person. You could say, have you thought about it this way? Would you be willing to look at it this way? I can understand why you would want to do this, but would you be open to some counsel from me? Just give them a little bit of a pushing, right? And here's an example I use. If you go down to a place and you have your mindset on a sausage and biscuit this morning, or whatever the case may be, and you get down there and the person says, I can understand why you'd want a sausage and biscuit, but we have the best ham and biscuits in the world. A lot of people would just go, what? Okay, give me a ham and biscuit. They came down there wanting one thing, but very easily they were convinced to take another thing. So you're going to have all kinds of opportunities like this every day, right? To say, hey, I can understand why you'd want to live in this subdivision. I know you're fixated on this house, but we can't pull this off here. But I do have something right over here that's very similar, maybe 95% of what you want. In the bedroom case, I would say, would you be willing to sacrifice the bedroom if I could get you $10,000 more and then you could use that money? That would be an example of a challenge. Does everybody see how a challenge doesn't have to be aggressive? It's really just trying to redirect a person and their thinking. Now, why should you be able to do that? Why would I let you do that?
Why would you let me do what?
Yeah, because I believe you have positioned yourself as an expert. And so I'm kind of giving you permission to kind of tell me what I'm supposed to do here.
So I'm intrigued by your story with your agent. Have you overcome her objections?
At what?
She's the one who's throwing up the objection, not you. I mean, it sounds like to me, to isolate hers, her fear is her commission, or your thought is her fear is
Right.
her commission is gonna be
Mhm.
pulled out from under her after she's worked hard to try to find you what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's her talking to the other agent behind the scenes and let's all get in writing, make sure we're all on the same page. I mean, I think, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna tell you what to do, but I'm just.
No, yeah.
You can flip it too. We may be giving objections to our clients.
Absolutely.
And don't even realize it, and so we
Absolutely.
have to put the shoe on both feet.
That's right. So how do you think I should tell her? Because in her mind, I feel like this agent is fixated on me purchasing this property.
I don't think that's it. I don't know her, but for me,
It's so uncommon for that to
Exactly,
happen.
exactly.
Sellers and buyers to get together at all.
I know, I get that part. I do understand that part. But how do you think I could overcome? Because that's what the only reason I'm saying that is because that's what she keeps pushing to me. Like different creative ways to do the deal.
how
Like,
well do you know her?
I know her pretty well.
So, have you just asked her, is there a reason why you don't want me to talk directly to the seller?
No.
Why not?
I would ask.
I'd ask her that.
It sounds
I mean,
like
if
it's
she's
about the
been,
business, the holistic picture more than just about the property itself. So you have to have answers
It is.
from the business end.
Yeah.
That she can't provide you. The only thing
Yeah.
where you can get that is
So
from the
let's sit
seller.
down and all
So
meet
let's-
together.
You
Yeah.
you are included in this
Yeah.
conversation, but let's have it.
Should she be there at the meeting
yeah,
with the business person?
Then
Yes.
then she doesn't feel like she's being excluded.
yeah, so when it's a business thing like that, I mean, I sit down with developers and the seller and they're.
Absolutely.
Is there any reason you wouldn't want her there?
It doesn't have anything to do with her. It just has, it would have to do.
Don't you trust her as a professional?
Yeah, but I think it clouds. I think it adds. The only reason I wouldn't want her there is I really believe that we can structure a deal, potentially that she would get rewarded on, if I just got face to face with the woman without anything else, just me and that woman.
You think it's gonna alienate the seller?
I think it could add another layer of. I think it just could add another layer of something that I think would actually hurt us.
What you probably don't see from my personal perspective,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what y'all think, but there's, and it's, sometimes buyers and sellers get together, and I think if my relationship with my client, whichever side it is good enough, and I feel confident in it, then I'm okay. But if I don't know them, then I'm apprehensive. And if I don't understand, because there's been several times over the years where they have gotten together just accidentally for whatever reason. You know, they stop by, they're driving by and the seller's out in the yard and they just said hello.
Right.
And then they get to talking and all this conversation evolves. And then right before closing, they told us about this when we stopped that day. Don't you remember? And it's an issue. And you're about ready to close. It's like, oh my gosh. So, you know, stuff just happens.
Yeah.
It's not intentional. It's not that she probably is, no, he can't meet with her. It's,
Yeah.
she needs to feel secure in what your real motive is.
And y'all don't have anything in writing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the part of it.
Yeah.
If it's
Put
like,
a
hey,
buyer's
this deal's gonna go
agreement in
through,
place.
if this deal
Yeah.
goes through, you're gonna be representing me. If it doesn't go through, it doesn't go through anyway. Here's a piece of paper saying, I'm gonna pay you if this deal goes through.
Yeah.
But this is a conversation that's separate from you that has to happen before we decide that's gonna go
Yeah.
through.
And I think, I mean, as agents, we have very defined roles. I mean, that's why we have all of our paperwork on agency and what we do. But it sounds to me like she's unclear what her role is, and what she knows how to do
Yeah.
is sell property. So she's trying to sell you the property. Cause that's what
Yeah.
she does, and that's what she knows how to do.
Yeah.
You've got this whole big picture that she maybe understands some of or not some of.
Mm-hmm.
How does she fit? How does she not fit? I mean, all that seems real, like you have in your head, but she doesn't know, and she's just trying to do the one thing she knows how to do,
Which is sell the
which
property.
is sell the house.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like she
Yeah.
kind of keeps pushing that to you. 'Cause
Right.
that's what she does.
Yeah.
But that's irritating you.
No, well, I do understand, and that's why I called her and said, look, if we do put a deal together, you're going to get compensated for it. I don't want you to feel like you're not going to get compensated because, you know, you did do work initially on this property, so I feel like in good conscience you should get paid for
But
the
she
work that you
probably
did.
I mean, like all of us like to get paid for our work, but we also like to know what we're doing and
Yeah.
what our role is and how we fit in the whole thing. So it's not always just about the compensation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And technically, and I don't know how that deal is structured, but usually the seller pays for the buyer side. So if you're telling her she's getting paid, is she asking you, are you going to pay me, or is the seller going to pay me?
Yeah.
Because you can't speak for the seller.
Yeah. I was saying if I rented the property and we generated revenue from the property, we would compensate her on the back end of that
So
if it was a rental
not
property. That's right.
And over time.
But
not
it could be over time. Could be over time. Or the other option is there is no deal and there is no money.
Yeah.
So on the other end of that spectrum, you know, you got to think about it on both ways here. But I definitely understand what you're saying. Now, not to get us off track on that deal, because that's wasn't the purpose of that. Okay, I did see the parade drive come out in y'all. I like that. I was looking for that parade drive.
our business.
I was looking for that parade drive.
Also, our deal is you have an idea person, like you're an idea person.
Yes.
And sometimes you can appear to be all over the board.
Yes.
So part of the process is to kind of corral direction, so you know how to help.
Yes.
But we all know corralling Coach Bird ain't
That's hard.
She may know that ain't gonna happen. So.
All right. So do you feel confident that the reason I threw that objection at you, because you really need to, I mean, it almost needs to be muscle memory to you, right? I mean, I don't want you to have to think about it. I want you to get to the point where you've practiced so much on objection that, and I even see people that every day we're doing this and they still don't really know how to do it. So I just want you to get in a rhythm of when you do get objection, which is just opposition of thought, that can be very easily swayed another direction. I want you to be just automatic on this, okay? This is very, very critical. Now, what we're really talking about today is how to have a burst out of the gates. And we're kind of tying all this stuff in because I am a big believer. How many of you set higher goals this year for yourself than you had last year? Okay? How many people set goals that you think are really, really ridiculous goals? Anybody? Okay? Now, if you didn't set really, really ridiculous goals, my question would be, why not? What, do you think you should have goals that are really, really stretch goals to yourself? I always believe you should have a dream goal and an optimistic number. There's a dream number and there's an optimistic number. I actually think your goals should scare you. I think they should keep you up at night. I think they should be big enough that they get you excited. If it's not big enough to get you excited, then you don't have the fuel you need. So we're going to talk about today your dominant focus, but can we all agree that everybody can look back over 2017 and know exactly what they did to get the results they got last year? Okay? If we come back in 2018 and don't add any new strategy, don't add any more velocity, don't add any more intensity, what would lead us to believe we could do the exact same thing we even did last year? Now, last night we watched Alabama win another championship, okay? I don't know why you wouldn't bet on Saban. I don't know what more Saban has to do to get you to bet on him. But see, he's not competing he's competing to be the all-time winning coach of all time, right? He's still tied with most championships. He will keep going until he's the #1 coach ever. You follow me? He's competing versus his own self. But to believe that he can come out every year and do the exact same thing he did last year while the competition is getting better and bigger and faster and stronger and his own assistants are now coaching against him that know what's going on in his mind, to believe he can do the exact same thing and keep winning championships would be foolish. Do you believe that? Because the competition around him is getting better. They're getting better. They're right there. They're like, it's coming down to just one play. One 30-second drive, one mistake. That's how small well, what's happening in the real estate world is competitors are getting better and better and better and better. And to believe that we can come out this year and do the same thing we did last year is really a myth. It may not even get us back to the same level. You follow me? So I want out of the gate, as you're thinking about a burst, I want you to write down right now if you were going to bring 2 new strategies to the equation this year, okay, that you did not do last year, or you're going to go back and pull out a strategy that you used to do, that you've gotten away from doing, what will those 2 new strategies be as you come into this year? Which means you may add 2 strategies, you may recommit to something you used to do that worked. Okay, what will they be for this year? I said this to you, a good plastic surgeon never makes more than 2.2 millimeters of change. They never make more than 7 changes. You can make small tweaks to your business and show big results. Everybody with me? Small tweaks can show big results. Small hinges turn big doors. So how many of you said you need to recommit to something you used to do, but you got away from doing? Anybody? Okay, a few of you?
Yes.
Okay, I used to do this. I hear this a lot. I used to do this. I used to prospect. I used to do this. I used to do this. Then I got away from doing it, but it was the very thing that made me successful. See how silly that sounds? Well, I used to be in great shape, and I had a trainer, and I worked out 5 days a week, and then I got away from that. You got away from the very thing that made you successful, which is what a lot of people do, okay? So for some of you, it's just like, look, I'm going to get back to doing this. This is what made me great to begin with, right? But for some of you, you're like, I need to bring new strategy to the equation, okay? And, you know, one of the things I did is I committed to the internet sales department, which means I really believe we should be doing a lot of volume online with the intellectual property we created. Online academies, books. Well, to do that, I had to go out and get the right person who knew how to do click funneling, all the things we needed to do. But that's a new strategy. You follow me? It's something we didn't do last year. Saban went to a new quarterback late in the game because his first strategy wasn't working. Everybody see how quick he shifted? Okay, so for you, you got to get out of this mindset. I'll just come back out in 2018. I'll do the exact same thing I did in 2017, and it'll magically produce 1 more deal a month for me. It's not going to work that way, guys. You're going to have to add something or subtract something. Don Meyer always said for everything you add, subtract 2 things. But I think in today's world, sometimes you need to add more things. Your strategies are not enough, okay? So let me give an example. I want you thinking right now, if I came to you and I said, I want you to stimulate your own economy in the first 90 days of the year. That means I want you to think about a flurry or a burst or a surge, and I want you to create some way to surge your activity in the first 90 days of the year. Okay? You could create some type of theme or construct. So let me give you an example. And I want you thinking about what your version of this is. Because when things are not working and you're not selling, you have to find ways to stimulate your own economy. How does a retail store do this? Sales. They do sales, right? They lower the pricing. They amp up on ads. They generate sales by creating some type of formula to go out into the market. So at the end of the year last year, I did something called the 90-day burn. And I did that because there was a lot of people that would not take action on a 1-year agreement. Okay? I know that it's very hard to move the needle in a person's life in 90 days. But I also know that if your number 1 issue is commitment, I have to eliminate any excuse that you've got to take action. You follow me? So I just keep going until I find a way to eliminate your excuse. So I said, okay, I tell the sales team, we got a new concept called the 90-day burn. Anybody who is sitting on the fence right now, you go to them and say, look, we won't make you sign a 1-year agreement. We'll let you go for 90 days. You just commit to me for 90 days, and if it works, we'll roll you into an agreement. Now, I want you to think about that. You actually roll them into a 12-month agreement. So they actually end up signing up if they stay for 15 months versus the 3 months they were scared to sign up for. But we had to show them something first. What did we have to show them? That they would be better off in 90 days in the future. That's a mental construct. The 90-day burn is just a mental construct I created and says, call on everybody you know that's in our pipeline that will not take action and offer them this. And that stimulated business. Well, after Christmas, I did a $1.99 sale, $1.99 a month. You could sign up for Monster Producer. You could get another year. If you were already in Monster, you could get another year. It's going to be $4.99, but for that day only, you could get it for $1.99. Okay? Just that day if you take action. Okay? That concept generated over $100,000 of sales that day. Just that one sale. And I actually lowered the price. So what did we do? We stimulated on a day after Christmas when people typically don't buy anything. They definitely don't buy any coaching. You follow me here? Well, it got me thinking about you. How does a real estate agent stimulate a flurry of business in a short, concentrated period of time? Like, what can you call on people and say? What can you do? Well, how can you create a sense of urgency? So when I started this year, I created this concept of burst, 90-day burst. If you won't commit to a year, just give me the first 90 days of the year because it's a natural time. What is an example of what you've seen great real estate agents do to stimulate their own economy if they reach stagnation? Christy, if you've seen an agent going on, let's say they're doing 1 deal, 2 deals, right? And they really want to just show a spike or a spurt. What have you seen them do? Is it solely amp up in activity? What have you seen agents do to create their own economy?
Pick up the phone.
Okay, all right. So the biggest thing to do is, hey, I'm going to commit to this. Who am I calling? Past clients, current clients, potential clients. I'm going to just have a flurry of activity, and I'm going to generate my own economy in the first 90 days, right? So that's one way. All right. What else could be a way? How many people, if they just did that one, that would work? Right? If I just committed every day to being on the phone. I know nobody wants to do it, but that's the truth, isn't it?
You gotta show up.
Okay, you got to show up every day. Okay, what else can you do? You got to show up, you got to get on the phone. What's a good version of this?
Knock on doors and internet.
Okay? So I want you thinking, concentrate. How many people think they could commit to something for 90 days? How many people think they could sacrifice for 90 days to have some kind of result at the end of 90 days? Now I want you to think about this. I think when you start condensing things down into 90-day increments, there's very little you can't sacrifice and do for 90 days. Now if I said you got to do it for a year, but if I said you got to do it for 90 days, for 90 days you got to get in the office and be in there every day from 9 to 11, you got to be on the phones every day. For 90 days you got to do this. If it guaranteed you sold more houses the first quarter of this year versus the first quarter of last year, would you commit to it? How many people would commit to that? Right? So I actually think you need something 90 days in the future that'll pull you toward it. And it's emotional. It's something emotional. Something you buy yourself, something you purchase, something you give yourself. There's some kind of reward at the end of 90 days that you're willing to sacrifice through some of the downside. Dabo Swinney always said you got to suck the sour to get to the sweet. You know, you got to suck the sour to get to the sweet. Well, the sour is I don't want to get on the phones every day right? But for 90 days, I'm willing to try it. For 90 days, I'm willing to give it a shot. For 90 days, I'm willing to get up early. I'm willing to do this, this, and this, right? So I want you thinking about this concept of burst. It's incentive, right? It's incentive. So what is a burst? Here's some definitions of burst. Think about your business. Be so full as about to break open. Feel a very strong or irrepressible emotion or impulse. Suddenly begin doing something as an expression of a strong feeling. Now stick on that one right there. How many of you have conviction that you are at the best real estate company you could be at in Nashville? How many people believe that? Okay, I hope everybody.
Me too.
And if not, hey, if not, there's the door. How many people believe that every person deserves the right to have a professional represent them when they buy, sell, build, or finance real estate? Do you believe it enough that when I give you a little bit of opposition that you don't roll over? I want you to really think about this because I want you to look at that definition. You do something as an expression of a strong feeling, which means when I tell you, well, I just need to do this or do that, or time is not right, how much conviction do you really have when I push back on you? You follow me? Do you take total ownership of the sale? So if they're not buying, do you say it's not their fault, it's my fault? Because I haven't done my job of articulating why this is the best move for them. I'm talking total ownership. Everybody see that? If somebody's not calling you back, it's not their fault they're not calling you back. It's your fault that you haven't made it interesting enough that they would call you back, right? If someone's not taking a meeting with you, it's not their fault, it's your fault because you haven't done your job of articulating what kind of value you can create. See how strong that expression needs to be? Let me use another word, conviction. Conviction. If you think a person is going down the wrong direction in their real estate with their real estate purchases, do you have enough conviction to tell them? Will you say, look, I can understand why you want to do this, but I think this is a mistake. See, that's one definition of burst. It's almost like Your conviction is bursting out of you. Is everybody with me? That's really what you're selling. It's like coming out. You can't even control it. You can't suppress it. You can't keep it down. You have that strong of a conviction. So when a person goes, well, I don't know, I'm looking at someone from this firm, and I'm looking at somebody from your firm, and I'm looking for here. Do you have enough conviction that you say, I can understand why you'd want to do that? But there is no better place in the world. When you're out recruiting other people to come work here with you, do you have enough conviction to say, look, I don't know why you would do that. Why would you go there when you could have the opportunity to come here and work with us? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the kind of conviction I want you having. And if you don't have that conviction, this is why it's very hard to sell in the market today. Because that's really what you're transferring is that conviction. Everybody with me here? And so when somebody gives you a little bit of opposition, I need you to be strong enough to reframe them because of your conviction. So I want you to put down something in 90 days, at the end of 90 days, that you're willing to sacrifice. You got to suck the sour for a little bit to get to the sweet. I want you to put down not your year-long goal, but I want you to put down your 90-day goal.
What will be for 90 days?
Yes, your goal, your outcome. And it could be personal, could be professional, it could be, right? Like I put something in front of me because I'm speaking at this big conference in Vegas where there's 10,000 people. So I put that I would be down to 165 before I go to Vegas, which is February 21st. Okay, now the reason I said that is because that will force me to get in the gym with my trainer 4 days a week versus 3 days a week. Everybody with me? I do not want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go do that. But I have committed to being down to 165 before I get on that stage in Las Vegas. Everybody follow me? That's my little 90-day burst. I have committed to certain numbers in my business in the first 90 days of the year, okay? So I want you to write down what yours is. And it needs to have an emotional pull to it. That means it's strong enough that you'll fight through a little bit of the inconvenience to have it. You must have a good one. You keep.
I wrote it down when you first started.
Okay, all right, okay, good. I know you keep smiling at me. You must have something good. I'm interested. You got me curious now.
It's nothing exciting.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, everybody got theirs? It's got to be, if it's not strong enough, we're going to call that your B. You're at A today. We're going to call it your B. If your B is not strong enough, the desire to move to the new thing will not be great enough to fight through the discomfort. So you will remain at A. Everybody follow me? So look at the word discipline. Discipline is a derivative of the word disciple. Most people think of disciples as Jesus had 12 disciples. But discipline is the ability to subordinate what we want now for what we want eventually. You with me? It's the ability to sacrifice what I want now. Like I don't feel like doing this. But I'm willing to sacrifice not feeling good to have that. Whatever that is. If that is not strong enough, you will not sacrifice what you have to do today. It's just that simple. Okay? We're going to get into talking about pray drive in just a few minutes and how to activate the pray drive in a person. Okay? So, how many of you struggle? So let's talk about discipline for a minute, because I hear a lot of real estate agents say this. I'm sure Christy's heard it her whole career. Karen's probably heard it your whole career. Is I need someone to hold me accountable. What does that really mean? Because when I hear a person say that, what's the first thing you think I think of? There's two things I think of. Your B's not strong enough, because if it was strong enough, you wouldn't need me to help you, right? And your self-discipline's not strong enough. The only lasting form of discipline is self-discipline. It is not imposed discipline. So a lot of agents, right out of their mouth, say, hey, will you call me every Monday? Can we talk every day? Because if we don't talk every day, I won't do that. I need accountability from you. Which tells me, in my little brain, as soon as I hear that, I'm like, your B ain't strong enough. Because if it was strong enough, you wouldn't need me to hold you accountable every day, right? To doing the very thing you need to do to be successful. That is imposed discipline. Self-discipline is I am a disciple to my own future. I don't need you to motivate me, hold my hand, psych me up, get me out of bed. I want to get it so badly that all you can do is try to be a resource to me. Like I don't need you to hold me accountable to this. Follow me? Now children need imposed discipline because their drive is not strong enough. So when I hear a person say, hey, I need a lot of accountability, then it tells me that their B is not strong enough and they don't have that, okay? So I want you to think of self-discipline as I am going to discipline my own self. I don't need validation from another person. I don't need approval from another person. I don't need, right? I know if I'm playing at my best today. I don't need you to tell me or not tell me. Everybody follow me? That's ultimately where I like to get every person I'm coaching. And I'll even ask people, why do you need validation from me? Why do you need validation? Why do you need me to tell you? Because I really don't know if you were clicking on every cylinder every day. The only person that knows that's who? You. I don't. See, you can fake it to me, but you can't fake it to you. So here's the kind of the formula. You got a system, that's a selling system. You got consistency. Consistency, I get in there and work that system every day. What is Saban? Process. Process. Focus on the process. Focus on the process. I've got self-discipline, and what should happen is there should be a predictable outcome. Now, so I want you to write these 3 words down, these 3 things down, because this is what you're selling. The people you're selling to have a missing structure. Okay, so write down missing structure. I got to get you thinking in terms of system and process of how you sell. That means they're missing something. What are they missing? Why do they need you?
They're missing leadership.
Okay, they're missing, yeah, leadership, guidance. What about this one? Clarity. Confidence. Is that why they're coming to you? Yes. You have a process that you take them through to help them go from confusion to clarity. So think of it like this. You come to me, I know I'm unhappy with my current house, but I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm supposed to. Great.
Sign this buyer's rep.
Sign this buyer's rep. All right. I know I freaked you all about that, didn't I? All right. I've signed it. Great. I'm going to take your confusion to clarity because I have a unique 3-step process for doing this. Everybody see that? And if we follow these 3 steps, we're going to find exactly what you're looking for. There is a predictable outcome. Everybody with me?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What do you do with a client that is overly confident?
Are they arrogant or confident?
Yes.
Now, what's our definition? What's our definition of arrogance versus confidence? And I love your shoes, by the way. Everybody love her shoes? You see his shoes?
I did see those.
Like I want to like buy them off of you today and wear them around, wear them home with me. Now, here.
That's what I feel like. There are some people that don't know what they don't know,
That's right. They don't.
and they are constantly telling me what they know
Yeah.
to be true. So yes, I hear you, but
Yeah.
that's the confidence. They got confidence. It's the let's take a step back and relook at this. So what do you do with somebody that doesn't listen very well or doesn't think they need you because they think that there's no need for a realtor in this?
Why do they find you?
Well, they're not 100% sure they need me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They want me to do the work, but yet I'm kind of an inconvenience, or you know what I'm saying? They're like, I can get on the internet, I can find this stuff, I can do all this.
Well, let me go back to what Christy said earlier. Have you said to them and addressed that? Like it seems like it. I say it seems to me like, you know.
I think this is and this is my opinion, but I think that there's kind of a blind sense of confidence because they have so much access to information.
Yep.
That they don't realize the negotiation part or the working with another agent and the inspection. So yes, it is my job to inform and educate on that. But
You said the key word. Keep feeding them information. They don't know what they don't know. I can understand how you can get a lot of stuff on the internet. I can understand how you think you can do this, but there's some pieces of this equation that maybe you don't know yet, right? So what's the difference between confidence and arrogance?
Lack of understanding.
Okay? Lack of understanding? You said overly confident. Why didn't you say arrogant?
She's Southern.
Exactly. Do you enjoy working with these people?
if I can bring them around, yeah, I enjoy them a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't mind people being, I like very strong, confident, smart people, but they need to, but are willing to accept that I can be that too.
Yeah.
You know.
So you're going to have a hard conversation with them?
I've had some of those.
And it hadn't worked?
Sometimes it does. Sometimes some people don't like that.
All right, so how many of you have really studied personality profiles at some point?
Like Enneagram or?
Like, you know, like for example, DISC is a communication tool, where it be Colby Index. I actually like predictive index, one of the predictive index the most, because that's a high predictor of their behavior. I actually think that some people, no matter how much coaching you gave them, it ain't changing. This is who they are.
Sure.
So you have to make up your mind
What sign are they?
if you want to deal with them or not. Like, here's what I hear a lot. I hear a lot of employees talk about their boss. Well, if they were just nicer and softer and sweeter, and I'm listening to both sides of the equation. I'm listening to the boss and I'm listening to the employees. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm listening to the boss bitch about the employees, and the employees bitch about the boss. And I finally say to them, look, this is who they are. This is how God made them. You follow me? They're a high D, type A, firstborn, Leo. This is who they are. You are not going to change them. So you have to make up your mind, do you want to work with them or not? Right? Because a lot of times that person has been very successful. The reason they're so confident is because they've been wildly successful. And they're sitting there looking at you. Like I heard Tony Robbins went through 43 assistants in 1 year. Now you may look at that and say, well, Tony, you ought to, man, come on. You need a little motivation here. You need to get better, right? He may look at you and say, well, I'm running a $400 million company, and it seems to work for me because I got 10,000 people coming to every session I do. And do I need to change, or do I need to change? Now, he may need to change who he hires. But my point is, imagine having that talk with him. He's supposedly one of the top motivational gurus in the world. Imagine going to Tony Robbins and say, hey, I need you to chill out a little bit, and I need you to calm down some. That's who he is.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? So a lot of people you deal with, we spend a lot of time wishing they were something they're not. Like, I wish you would listen a little bit better. I wish you would be more respectful. I wish you would understand who I am a little bit better. That's who they are, right? So you just got to make up your mind if you want to work with them or not. Now, out of this up here, which ones are you committed to do? How many people are committed to mapping out their day every night before they go to bed? How many people are committed? I mean, committed means Vince Lombardi moment, step across the line. How many people are doing it right now? Great. How many people have recommitted this year in 2012 to map 2012? What do you hear in my hand? Hey, I still had hair in 2012. What? Maybe that's why I'm going back there. Well, how many people are committed in 2018 to like doing this, right? Commitment every night to map out our next day. How many people are committed every day to do some type of training? I'm not saying as much commitment on this. What, could you and I just get together downstairs and do this? Could we do it over the phone? Yes or no? Yeah, I could call you in the morning and say, look, let's go through how to handle objection. Here's objection I had yesterday. Let's practice. Let's go through making an outbound phone call. We could train every day virtually. It doesn't matter, okay? How many people are committed every day and to do some type of prospecting every day? I'm committed every day to doing at least 2 hours because I think that's what it takes to be successful, okay? These are commitments. How many people are committed to a high-value activity every day? High-value is money-generating activity. That means we got to let go of what? Goofing off, gossiping around the office, spending time talking about this. There is a time and place for that. It's just not in the middle of the workday. And I'm very strict about this. So, like, we have a new accountant at our office who I love. And one day she came down to Bill's office at 10:06 in the morning, and we're supposed to be prospecting from 9 to 11 every day. And she's down there asking him about an accounting issue. And I'm over in my office, and I'm hearing this, right? And I politely get up, and I go over there, and I say, you know I love you, but you need to do what? Go back to your office. This is time for him to prospect. You don't need to be talking about an accounting issue at 10:06. We are committed to prospecting from 9 to 11 every day. That means we're not dealing with something that happened in the past, which is what accounting is. Everybody with me?
Is there a time set for things that fall outside of prospecting and there are things?
Yes. Basically, I say prospect in the morning, solve the world's problems in the afternoon.
Okay.
So at 11:01, I don't mind her coming down at 11:01 and saying, hey, can we address this issue? I just don't want it, because I have worked so hard. And listen, I'm preaching this every day, and I still struggle with my whole team doing it. I'm like, hey, what are you doing right now? Why are you not on the phone calling somebody? Well, I'm dealing with, what time you're going to arrive in Alabama next week. No. We will deal with that at what time? 11:01. But we're not dealing with it right now. Okay? And I'm constantly catching myself having to hey, focus. This is what this time is for, because we're committed to that process, okay? So if you just did these things, so the reason I need you, right, the reason I need you is because I have a missing structure. Could be insecurity, could be I don't know what I need to do, could be I don't know how to negotiate, whatever. You have a proven process. If we work the process right, there should be a predictable outcome. Do you agree with that? If you prospect every day and work what we're telling you, there should be a proven process. What should be happening? You should be selling more real estate. You should be doing more deals. You should be growing if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, okay? So that's what we're going to commit to, all right? Now, I want you thinking about this and we're going to take a break. Anybody ever heard of the word pray drive?
I thought you were saying P-R-A-Y.
That's a room for a
Yeah, that's right. Pray. Pray drive. Instinctive inclination of a carnivore to find, pursue, and capture. Starts with the eyes. Typically, this is very prevalent in dogs. Okay? But you have a prey drive. How we elicit that prey drive in you is very, very critical. Right? As an old girls basketball coach, you should have seen all the things we did to try to elicit prey drive in the players. We would put them in there where they would wrestle with each other. You understand what I mean? We would put them through all these exercises, and I would even see, guess what I would see when we put them in competitive environments? You ever seen a soft, sweet, kind, friendly, and in the right environment, that prey drive would come out, and it would be like, I will just, pull your hair out. But in many of the players, it had to be what? Brought out in them. They didn't naturally. So prey drive is the desire to wake up, see something visually, optically, and then go get it. Some people have a lot more than others. Would you agree? How can we elicit it in you? Now, when we go back to this B, I'm calling B dominant focus. But when your B is clear and vivid and you want it so badly that you're willing to sacrifice for it, what'll happen is that will activate that prey drive. Okay? And you will actually want to go, you will suck the sour to get to the sweet. Here's where you currently are. If this is not strong enough, you'll just constantly go back to what your old way of doing business. Because it doesn't elicit that in you. Okay? And so, if you don't have it, can I help you get it?